Hey guys, it's Sim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on what's today, the 7th of November 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Full Gear, or should I say at AEW Full Gear, because it's a pay-per-view show. You gotta say, well, at least in my opinion, you gotta say at, because it's a special event. I know I talk about this all the time. I have the feeling of if it's something we get a lot, like a weekly television show, then I say on Monday Night Raw, on AEW Dynamite, on NXT. But if it's a special event, a pay-per-view, I say at. So that's just how I do it. But with that, I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Full Gear. Almost said Dynamite. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Remember, if you're here with us on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either go down below and hit that sweet donation button, or drop some Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, if you're here with us on Twitch, you can subscribe to us a couple of different ways. Not only do you get a tiered subscription that you can sign up for, but you can sign up for absolutely free with Amazon Prime. Not only can you get that next day shipping straight to your house, no hassle, no extra fee, but you get no extra fees when you use that Prime Gaming subscription that Amazon gives you to subscribe to one channel you want on Twitch for no extra cost. I mean, you're already paying them that $12 a month or $100 and some odd a year. So why not get the use out of that Twitch Gaming subscription, or that Prime Gaming subscription, and use it to help us out here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. It's no money to you. I mean, they're not charging you any extra, and we get like $5 kickback off of it. So, just saying, would greatly appreciate it if you use that Prime Gaming sub on us. But that's not what we're here. We're not here to talk about how you can help us. We're here to talk about tonight's pay-per-view that I have a lot of mixed feelings about. That was AEW Full Gear. So I kind of saw the pre-show. I didn't really catch most of the match between Serena Deeb and Allison Kay because I was working on another project at the time. But I kind of watched it out of the corner of my eye, and I saw that it was a pretty good match. And I did see afterwards Thunder Rosa did come out to, I guess you could say, confront Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion. Now here's the thing. A lot of people go, there's so much uncertainty with Thunder Rosa. What's going to happen with Thunder Rosa going forward? Is she now with AEW because she showed up tonight? No, I don't think she is. She and Billy Corgan said that she's got another year on her contract. So she's got another year on her contract, and she's just coming to confront the NWA World Women's Champion. That doesn't mean she's signed with AEW. Right now, the NWA are not running their own shows. They're kind of piggybacking off of others like Primetime Live and AEW, and so they got to find ways to keep their acts hot, their titles in the mix somewhere, and that's all this was tonight. It was a way to get Allison Kay on the show. I don't know if it's a one-time thing or more, and it was a way to, I guess you can say, build up something, and probably something that can be a really good match. I think Serena Deeb and why did my mind just go blank here? Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa again would be a really good match. Both matches they've had in the past 2 months were really good. The one they had on Dynamite and the one they had for the title on Primetime Live. I liked both of those matches. So I'd say, hey, give us the trilogy. Give us Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb one more time. Also, I forgot to mention, if you guys want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is in the live chat, 510-906-1341, and it will be scrolling across the bottom of the screen down here periodically throughout the show. Going forward, we go to the main card. And I was paying attention by the time we got here. And it was the finals of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Paige. Also, if you guys haven't been following me on Twitter, I've been up for 36 hours straight now. I'm like half wired, half tired. So bear with me, folks. This may be a roller coaster ride of emotions. So this was a absolutely phenomenal match. Great way to open up the show and say, hey, if you liked this, don't go anywhere. But my opinion, this was the best match of the night. There were some other good matches, but then there was stuff that was kind of just like, what are we watching this for? People were hyping this up, and it wasn't that great. Like, I thought the show, I'm going to say it right now, 7.5. I'm giving this show a 7.5 out of 10. I know some people are going to be like, you're ridiculous. You should rate this show higher. This show was so good. And I've seen all the arguments on Twitter, and it's called opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. As I'll tell you later, I was bored through a lot of the second half of this show. But not this match. Not this match. Not Kenny Omega and Hangman. These two worked their tails off. This was a G1 finals type of match if I've ever seen one outside of the G1. So they had an aggressive tie-up before they just started hitting each other with chops. Omega sent Paige to the outside with a snap Hurricane Rana and went for a Rise of the Terminator dive, but was met with a big boot and a fall-away slam. Paige cut off Omega with a dive off the second rope and a suplex. Omega took a beating on the outside, being sent into the barricade multiple times. Paige went for one too many, and Omega leapt off the retaining wall for a moonsault. Back in the ring, Omega hit a Kataru Crusher and got a 2 off of it. Hit some chops. Well, yeah, cool. There's a sequence here that I like almost couldn't follow because they were doing like a number of different things. I was like, whoa, what did I miss? Like, I thought I looked away for a second, come back, and I'm like, oh, I didn't look away, but it was like boom, boom, boom. So at one point, Omega hit a You Can't Escape, but appeared to tweak his knee before a moonsault attempt. Paige fired up with some more chops and hit a springboard clothesline, sending Omega to the floor. Paige missed a pescado and was met with a baseball slide on his way back into the ring. This bought Omega enough time to eventually hit that Rise of the Terminator dive. We saw a springboard dropkick give Omega a near fall. Paige fought out of a one-winged angel attempt, but was crushed with a V-trigger on a slingshot dive. Paige caught Omega in the Deadeye position, but Omega fought out before being flattened with a powerbomb on the ramp. Second powerbomb in the ring gave Paige a near fall. They exchanged forearms in the middle of the ring. Paige then hit Omega with a rolling elbow, but was then met with the Tiger Driver 98 for a 2. There was then a ridiculous sequence where Paige avoided a V-trigger. Omega jumped out of a German suplex and hit a Snapdragon, but Paige fired up and hit a Deadeye to get a great near fall. I think this is the one where you got like a 2. Excalibur called it a 2.9999. So Omega avoided a buckshot lariat at one point and cradled Paige with an Okada cradle. Got a super close near fall. He hit a dragon screw and a V-trigger through the ropes. He avoided another buckshot and hit 2 more V-triggers before setting up the one-winged angel. Through a lot of this match, they talked about that, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, these two met in New Japan and had a match. And they brought that up a number of times. Also, forgot to mention, Don Callis, Impact Wrestling EVP, maybe just VP, I don't know. He was on commentary for this match. And I liked Don Callis on commentary here because he was Don Callis. He said all the Don Callis things, brought up a million times that he's friends with Kenny Omega and been friends with Kenny Omega since he was a little kid. But he didn't overstep his grounds. He was the 4th man on the match, and he never once tried to butt in, never once tried to just say whatever he wanted. He took his turn, I guess you can say. And I like that about Don Callis. He knew he was the guest, and he worked as such. So kudos to Don Callis there for not overstepping his grounds and just going, oh yeah, I'm friends with Kenny. This is blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say this is, you know what I mean? So at one point, Omega hit 2 V-triggers before setting up a one-winged angel. Paige fought and fought and fought, but Omega nailed it and picked up the victory. Kenny Omega, unshockingly to anybody really, did win this tournament and is the next challenger for the AEW World Championship. That was a mouthful for some reason. Next up, we had Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Again, two guys that I'm kind of, they're all right. They're more comedy guys. I know both guys. Now, hold on. Let me reverse that. Rewind. That was kind of rude. Yeah, some can call both Orange Cassidy and John Silver comedy wrestlers to an extent, but they are also both really good pro wrestlers in the ring. Just because they're good at certain things doesn't mean they're not good at a lot of things. Or let me rephrase that. Just because they're really, really good at certain things, like comedic timing and stuff, doesn't mean they're good at a lot of things. And so, like, I went in this match thinking, oh, this is going to be a lot of goof spots and John Silver BTE stuff. But it wasn't. These two actually went out there, did some of their comedy stuff, but at the same time tried to have a pay-per-view caliber worthy match for their level on the roster or card, however you want to say it. So after slight comedy stuff at the beginning, this led to a pretty, like I said, decent match, but no real story to it. It was a lot of, you hit your big move, I'll hit my big move. Look what you can do, look what I can do. Neither wrestler had backup out there. Silver posed in front of Cassidy and implored him to not put his hands in his pockets, which Cassidy ignored and did. Cassidy toyed with Silver at the start and hit his barely there kicks to, I think it was, knock him down. Orange Cassidy then hit a drop kick. The drop kicks would knock him down. He hit a drop kick and then a kip up. Silver, the smaller man, slammed Cassidy and tore the pockets out of Cassidy's pants before putting them in his mouth and discarding them. Cassidy was sent across the ring with a series of beels. He fired up and attempted a tilt-a-whirl DDT, but Silver powered out and leveled him. Silver maintained the advantage with a long beatdown. They also mentioned how, I want to say a year ago, or a little over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, these two did wrestle each other for Beyond Wrestling. So I love that they go, hey, just because this may be the first time these two fight one-on-one in AEW, they've had matches together in the past. We saw it when they talked about Kenny and Hangman in New Japan. We saw it with this match where they talked about their Beyond match. So I really like that they did that. Or not that they did that they do that. So Silver went for a superplex, but instead opted to take Cassidy off the top rope and hit a single leg press. He went for a spin doctor, but Cassidy countered into a Hurricane Rana and also hit a Michinoku driver for a nice near fall. Silver fought out of a beach break and downed Cassidy with strikes, but Cassidy kipped up. They exchanged cradles. Silver hit a series of kicks, and Cassidy turned a suplex into a stunner. Silver then hit the spin doctor and got a 2 off of it. In a reference to Mr. Brody Lee, Silver went for a discus forearm. Cassidy countered it with an orange punch and a beach break to pick up the victory. Again, these two had a good match. For what it was supposed to be, it excelled. I'll say it right there. For what this match was supposed to be, it was really good. It was supposed to be a fun, hey, let's break up all the, I guess you say, super serious action with a fun match, and we'll go from there. And I think these guys delivered exactly what they were asked to deliver. It wasn't a great match, but it wasn't horrible or bad. So kudos to these guys working really well together. After the match, best friends arrived and, well, they hugged with Cassidy. Next up, and I think the only match that may have shocked people with the finish, it was Cody defending the TNT Championship against Darby Allin. Now, when I did my predictions, I said, you know, this match can go either way. Cody's beaten Darby 2 or 3 times already. Darby has to get that big win over Cody. It's been about a year and a half since the two started feuding or started their series of matches. So I thought, you know, I thought it could have been Darby's time. I'm going back to what I said in my predictions. But then at the same time, I was like, But I just, for some reason, don't see them taking the title off of Cody. Also, JP Penix says, Tim, shouldn't the slide on the bottom be the results? It should be, but that's when I watched the show at home. I watched the show at a friend's house and then rushed home to do this review. So I didn't have my computer with my graphics or Photoshop to actually create that and not be like real super late getting this show started 45 minutes to an hour after the show went off the air. Try to get this show going as quick as possible after Full Gear went off the air. So that's why we don't have the results ticking across the bottom of the screen like normally with a pay-per-view review. But it's all good because I'm spewing the results out my mouth right now. And the result of this match was actually Darby becoming the new TNT champion. And it's like, okay, cool. How long till Cody gets it back? And I know I shouldn't think that, but it's already what we've been conditioned with this title. Oh, what project does Cody have that he's got to leave for a couple weeks and then he's going to get it back? Because that's what happened last time. We learned that Mr. Brody Lee was never supposed to be TNT champion, but Cody got that call from TBS and Time Warner and they said, hey, we want you to do a TV show for us. Can you come? Cody said, well, I got to drop this title first. I don't want this title to be in limbo. They said, okay. And that's why Mr. Brody Lee was TNT champion. So now we're conditioned to think, oh, Cody dropped the belt. Is he just going off to do something else and then he'll be back and beat Darby for the belt again? Probably not. I'm probably thinking too much into it, but who knows? As far as the match does go, great, excellent ring work by both. But with Darby winning, I felt like the way Darby won was not the right way Darby should have won. Cody dominated 75 to 80% of this match, and then Darby flashed him. And not flashed him, but like got that flash win like out of nowhere kind of win. And all of a sudden, like you're watching the match, and all of a sudden you hear ding, ding, ding. Like, what? That was the finish? New TNT champion. So let's get into it. Yes, Cody is now Cody Rhodes. Justin Roberts made a point to emphasize that during the ring introduction, even though Cody told us on that media call, you know, I don't think I'm going to use the name Cody Rhodes in wrestling. I'm more excited to use it outside of wrestling and acting and whatnot, and TV appearances. So I don't know where the change came between Thursday and today, and whose idea was it to be like, no, Cody, you're Cody Rhodes now. Was it him? Was it Tony? Was it another EVP that said this is what you need to do? I don't know, but I think Justin Roberts had fun saying, Cody Rhodes! Either way. The Nightmare Family was out there, including recent additions like Billy and Austin Gunn, as well as Lee Johnson. Still waiting for that Red Velvet that announcement of Red Velvet joining the family. You know, she's all buddy, chum with Brandy now. It's Cody being surrounded by like over half a dozen people was a great little visual. It's like, oh man, this is the boxing heavyweight champion or the UFC heavyweight champion or light heavyweight champion or whatever coming in for a big fight with his entourage and his camp and his coaches behind him. And then little old Darby, loner, sitting by himself with a half-painted face. So Darby actually got a special entrance here. Came out with a custom, I guess you could call it junker, a clunker car. The commentary basically buried. But Cody established early on that he's the better wrestler. He's the bigger wrestler. He's, in my opinion, the bully. Cody wrestled this match as a damn heel, I feel. So Cody acted very, very cocky through most of this match, taunting Darby Allin every chance he got, basically just like taking Darby down and then just taunting him, trying to wait for him to get up. And then right when Darby would try to get up, Darby maybe would get a move or two in, and Cody would just beat him right back down. This match was booked so much like a WWE match that I was baffled. Because that's something WWE would do. And I'm not trying to compare this to WWE, but it's like a Corbin match. Corbin goes out there, beats down his opponent. It's the Matt Riddle-Corbin match. Goes out there, beats him down, gets taken down himself, but right back up, beats him down the opponent. This was what's the word I'm looking for? Not not fundamentally. Like the foundation of this match was similar to Corbin and frickin' Riddle. I want to say at Payback. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong in the live comments below. It was basically the bigger guy, which in Riddle and Corbin, they're almost the same size. But either way, the bigger guy, the guy that's supposed to be the heel, just beats down the babyface to where we think the babyface is dead. The babyface gets come back, and then he gets beat back down. And that's what a lot of this fucking match was. Yeah, I said it. I liked the match, but I was baffled with how much they made us seem like, oh, Darby's good, but he's almost not champion good. Like, that's what it made me feel, and we'll get into that more as we get towards the end of this match. So, at one point, Cody attempted some mat takedowns, but Darby Allin fought out and slapped him. This led to Cody leaving the ring and taking time with his coach Arn. Back in, Allin nearly pinned Cody with a La Magastra. I always fuck that word, La Magastra, before feigning a dive and hitting it when Cody had his back turned. Cody made his way back in and just catapulted Allin onto the ring apron with a hammerlock lift. Cody kept up the offense, targeting Darby Allin's arm. After a long beatdown on Darby Allin by Cody, Allin went for a springboard arm drag, but Cody turned it into a wrist lock submission. Again, Darby tries to go for offense. Cody gets the advantage. Cody took too long to keep up the offense after Allin reached the ropes. So, Allin fell to the outside. Got to the outside. Cody hit an avalanche hammerlock power slam for a 2 before applying a cross arm breaker, forcing Allin to reach the ropes. Allin evaded Cody's moonsault and went for a coffin drop, but Cody caught him. He fought out with strikes and hit a Yoshi Tonic for a 2. At one point, Cody cut off a dive attempt and bit Allin's arm, which the announcers completely didn't even mention. With both men up top, Cody hit an avalanche crossroads, but Allin's arm was underneath the ropes, which implicated, can't count that pin. Allin then jumped on Cody's back and attempted a sleeper, but couldn't lock it in. Cody's the bigger guy. He's gained that 15 pounds. He's a heavyweight now, or as Cody said, a true heavyweight. Cody made his way up to the top and took a back bump. Allin still on his back. Allin was sent outside, but made it back in before the 10, by the 9 or so. Cody at one point then went for a crossroads, but Allin turned it into a cradle. They exchanged more cradles before finally Darby Allin just cradled him up and pinned him. Like, cradle, Darby wins. I didn't like that finish. It was like, okay, Darby's finish is the coffin drop, but he actually, I think, only hit it once after attempting it a bunch of times, and it didn't even lead to the finish. So Darby's the TNT champion, and it's like he couldn't even really beat Cody as far as being competitive to Cody. This whole match was, fuck, Darby won't give up. This man likes to be punished. This man can take a beating. Oh, hey, whoa, what just happened? He won. Like, the action was good, but the way this match was booked baffled me. Because we've got a new champion that Cody praised, kind of. And what's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledged, but that's not the actual word I'm looking for. Showed respect for, maybe I should say. As far as the new champion goes. He hugged him and raised his arm up and handed him the title. Basically proposed to him with the belt, got down on one knee. But it's just like, how are we supposed to believe Darby as a competitive champion when Cody whooped his ass tonight and got caught? Like, Cody didn't get beat. Cody got caught. Like, All them, like you can use the argument of all them cradles. Cody got dizzy and couldn't kick out at 3 off that last one. Like, literally, that's it. So I don't like the way this match ended because to me, Darby is not a strong challenger. Especially after Team Taz came down and beat the ever-loving piss out of this man. Not only does Cody whoop his ass over and over in this match, but then Brian Cage and Ricky Starks almost break his fucking arm. Why are we supposed to believe that Darby's going to be anything but a transitional, just, I don't want to say the word joke, but not strong champion? Like, he's supposed to be the ace, the face of TNT now as the TNT champion. But I see him as just a dude who happened to get a victory over Cody by accident. That's it. Like I stated, after the match, Taz came down with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Well, Taz came out on the stage by himself, distracted the two in the ring, which allowed Ricky Starks and Brian Cage to attack. At one point, Brian Cage grabbed Darby Allin and took him over to that car that he brought in, slammed him down on the car. Ricky Starks and Brian Cage were looking, I guess, to slam the car door into Darby's arm, and they just waited and waited and waited to do it until finally, oh my God, it's Will Hobbs with a steel chair. He's coming to save Darby Allin. Like, Will Hobbs get caught not paying attention, not ready to go? Because they just stood there, and you can see like Ricky Starks is on top of the car holding Darby down, and Cage has got the door like, do I push it yet? 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 Hobbs with the chair. That's my cue. Run. Like, I don't know. But Darby is the champion. Like, I would have liked it if he actually seemed competitive with Cody and not just the smaller guy that sometimes got some moves on Cody in this match. And then, oh, hey, whoa. Where'd that win come from? Literally, I blinked and all of a sudden I hear him say, "You're new TNT champion." And I go, wait, you're like, what? So I can't get into Darby as the champion. I really can't. Next up, the Natural Nightmares were being interviewed backstage. Talked about the Butcher, the Blade, Allie, or Bunny, and whatnot. And Rhodes got just heated. They talked to Tony Khan. Tony Khan told him that their tag team match this Wednesday is a bunkhouse match. Also, we did learn that Red Velvet will be taking on Tay Conti. Conti will have Anna Jay of the Dark Order in her corner, and Red Velvet will have Brandy Rhodes, her new BFF, in her corner. Next up, we got the AEW Women's World Championship match. Hakarushida defending against Nyla Rose. And my first question was, who cared about this match? Who cared to see this match on the show? I didn't. Actually, I shouldn't have raised my hand then. But
sorry. Sure.
Thank you, Alexa. Let's turn you off for now. Anyways, I didn't care to see this match. And this was one of a few matches tonight that bored me. That it just, a match that went through the motions. They knew what their spots were supposed to be. And this was also the first match when I go, fuck, match is going a little long. Because there was this match, tag title match, the Elite Deletion. And I think it was those matches where I was like, God, they gave these matches way too much time. MJF and Jericho almost felt too long. But then I was like, right when I'm like, all right, we're going to the end here, aren't we? They went to the end. I felt like this match was, I think, timed out almost perfectly. But we'll get to that when we get to that. We're here to talk about the women's title. So for the second straight match, the women worked well, but just felt like they were going through motions and stuff. I did I did like Nyla Rose in her Mega Man gear. That was pretty cool. At one point, early on in the match, Sheeta exploded out of the gate really quickly, hit a series of drop kicks and a Shining Wizard, and kept up the offense on the challenger. Nyla Rose was dangling out of the ring at one point, and Sheeta hit a running knee lift, kind of like Roman Reigns' drive-by, but she doesn't jump up on the apron and kick her. It's just a running knee lift. Where was I? Running knee lift, lost my spot. Boom, boom, boom. She then drove Nyla Rose into the barricade. She set up for a chair-assisted move, but Rose cut her off with a lariat. Rose tried to bring out weapons, but the official stopped her, saying, hey, what is this, double or nothing? No, that's when we had the no DQ match. This match, you can get DQ'd. Sheeta then hit that chair-assisted jumping knee, sending Rose through the barricade. But when the official checked on Rose, Guerrero hit Sheeta with a kendo stick. Vicky Guerrero, that is. Using the ring frame for assistance, Rose dismantled Sheeta's knee, wrapping it around the, I guess you could say, metal frame of the ring. Back in the ring, Rose kept up, targeting the knee. Rose climbed the top turnbuckle, but Sheeta cut her off. Rose tossed Sheeta off the ropes, but missed a senton, allowing Sheeta to make a comeback. Sheeta then set up for a suplex. Rose tried to fight her off. Sheeta was able to hit it, and it was actually a nice spot. Sheeta went for a Tamashi, but Rose countered by attacking the knee and following up with a press slam for a 2. Rose then tried a dive, but Sheeta cut her off and hit a missile dropkick on the ramp, as well as one in the ring, and got a 2 off of it. Rose hit a powerbomb, but did the cocky thing and picked up Sheeta before the 3 count. Kind of was like, 1, 2, nah, I'm not done with you, idiot. Idiot. So she hit Sheeta with her own finisher, the Tamashi, the Shining Wizard the knee strike deal. But Sheeta kicked out a 1 and backdropped Nyla Rose. Sheeta hit a ridiculous avalanche Falcon Arrow and returned the favor by picking up Rose after the 2. She went for a Tamashi, but Guerrero cut her off and Rose capitalized on the distraction. They set up for a kendo stick attack, but the official took the stick and Sheeta sent Rose into the barricade. Can you catch why I'm saying this match went too long? Like, Sheeta did not need to pick up Nyla after the 2. Nyla does it to her because she's the heel. Sheeta then just beats her right after with the next big move and pin attempt. But now we're trying to do kendo stick shit again, and they're throwing each other back out of the ring. It's just too much here. Finally back in the ring, Sheeta hit a Falcon Arrow for a 2 before following up with another Tamashi knee, but Rose kicked out. Sheeta then hit yet another Tamashi and hit repeated knee strikes, get the hard-fought win, and pin Nyla Rose. Just a little long in the tooth. Again, there's no need for Hakarushida to do the whole 1, 2, pick you up, let's keep this match going. There wasn't. There wasn't no need for Nyla to do it either. Because what happened? Nyla fucking lost. And I'll say it again. Idiot. If I had to say geek of the show, Nyla Rose. Because Nyla had this match won. And then gave it away. You're welcome. After the match, basically, Vicky Guerrero just did what I did and berated Nyla Rose for her actions in this match, not taking the match in the challenge of Hakarushida serious enough, and then Vicky slapped her. Next up, we got the Young Bucks challenging FTR for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Tully Blanchard was banned from ringside, and there was a stipulation that if the Bucks lose, well, they can never challenge for the titles again. And that right there would make you assume. Now here's the thing. Assume, oh, well, they have to win. Just like we thought with Cody last year. But here's the thing. They really had to win because Cody did this last year, and they weren't going to do it 2 years in a row on the same pay-per-view that somebody challenges for a title and then loses and can never challenge for that title again. So basically, we wasted a lot of time with this match to get the finish that we knew we were going to get. Well, the outcome we knew we were going to get. which kind of pissed me off because I felt this match went way too long and was a little boring. I know a lot of people love this match, and it's my opinion, so I'm going to say it. I was bored in this match, and I don't know if it's that I've been up for 36 hours or if I was really that bored of the match, but caught myself dozing a little once or twice. But I will say that my buddy that I was with, who did get normal sleep last night, was bored of this match as well. So it might not have just been me being tired. So the story of this match was both teams appreciate tag teams from the past, and both teams had guys hurt or get hurt during this match. I think a half dozen of some of the greatest teams ever were referenced. And I think the match was laid out okay, or actually laid out really well, but should have ended about 5 minutes earlier than it did. Tully Blanchard, like I said, was banned from ringside. He came out with his boys, wished them luck, and then went to the back. Matt Jackson, Cash Wheeler started off the match. Wheeler immediately targeted the injured ankle, but Matt out-wrestled him, and FTR regrouped. Both of FTR entered the ring. They were cut off by the Bucks, so Nick and Harwood tagged in. Just like before, the Bucks out-wrestled FTR members, and Nick gained the advantage on Harwood. Wheeler tagged in, but he was met with an arm drag, and the Bucks tried some tandem offense. FTR took advantage, but Nick backflipped out and avoided some big moves before hitting drop kicks. The Bucks hit serial Hurricane Ranas on their opponents. They then hit head scissors and a drop kick combination. On the outside, Matt avoided a right hand from Harwood, who ended up punching the ring post, and this appeared to be a planned spot, but then Harwood actually seemed to hit it too hard, bloody up his hand, and had to be medically attended to during the match, like mid-match. Matt kept off the offense, but FTR used the numbers advantage to cut him off. Nick was down, so they took on Matt 2-on-1. Matt went for a moonsault and aggravated his injured leg in the process. Wheeler attacked Matt's leg on the outside as Doc Samson bandaged up Harwood, and I loved what Excalibur said here. So Harwood gets his hand bandaged up, and he jumps back in the ring, and Excalibur says, you know, we cut over the Doc Samson taping up that hand, midway through. We didn't see if maybe Doc Samson had to put some sort of a splint or something in that wrap to help the hand. Could he have a foreign object wrapped up in his hand now? I don't think he did, and I don't think it was ever mentioned again. But I liked Excalibur saying that just for the fact of, whoa, maybe we do need to think about something here that we would have never thought about. And I like Excalibur when he does stuff like that. He thinks outside the box and tries to get us to think during matches, which I really, really appreciate. So Wheeler attacked Matt's leg on the outside, like I said, blah, blah, blah. Back in the ring, FTR picked up the pace, making frequent tags and beating Matt down. Nick tried to get involved, but he would always get cut off. Matt fought out, but Harwood was able to make the tag and continue the beatdown. Matt finally made his comeback by sending Harwood into the ring post, but Wheeler fought Nick to the point where he wasn't there to make the tag. Harwood hit the first half of a powerplex, but Matt got his knees up on the splash. Matt backdropped Wheeler onto the floor and hit a DDT on Harwood, finally buying him enough time to tag in his brother. Nick ran wild on FTR and hit some big right hands. He avoided the moonsault on the floor, but Nick hit his bulldog clothesline combination. Wheeler rolled through a diving crossbody and reached Harwood on the tag and did the hard attack. Matt then made the blind tag and floored Wheeler with a spear before his brother hit a Shining Wizard for a 2. He tried a powerbomb, but his knee buckled under the weight, so now Nick's got a bum knee. FTR hit an electric chair bulldog, reference to the Steiner brothers, for a 2, and Wheeler speared Nick out of the ring. Nick cut off more double team moves and hit a super kick, as then went for a twist of fate and a swanton combination, as there was a callback to the Hardys. We also saw, I think, a 3D right before that as well. So Harwood hit a rebound powerbomb, but Matt cradled him with a crucifix pin for a great near fall. At one point, the Bucks hit a catapult into a, I think Excalibur called it a Yamaguri, and Nick dispatched Wheeler with a cannonball. Matt applied a sharpshooter, and Harwood reached the ropes, but Nick super kicked Harwood's hand, the injured hand that is, and so, well, he wasn't grabbing the ropes, and the referee couldn't make him break the hold. Nick then locked a sharpshooter on Wheeler, and then FTR grabbed each other's hands. And at first when JR says, they're holding hands, that should be enough for the referee to break the hold, I go, wait, why? But then when you think about it, because, well, Harwood's hand would have been out of the ring or under the ropes. And as we've learned in wrestling, if your hand is under any of the ropes, even if you don't grab the rope, but it's under it for a significant amount of time, that could consist of a rope break by referee's discretion. So I liked that. At first I was confused by it, but then after I thought about it for a minute or two, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. Where was I? They locked hands, but it wasn't enough. Eventually, the pressure was too much, and Matt was forced to break as he was putting too much weight on that injured ankle. Harwood fought out of a more bang for your buck, so Matt stomped the injured hand and did the finger break spot. The BTE trigger looked to finish it, but Wheeler came out of nowhere to break up the pin. Nick hit an Escalera plancha on Wheeler to the outside as Matt brought a chair into the equation. Harwood said, okay, I want to just end this match. I want to keep my belts. Hit me, get DQ'd, and then I win. You gonna do it? You gonna do it? Matt almost did it and then thought better of it. Wheeler powerbombed Nick through a table at one point, and FTR hit the Mindbreaker. But Matt's leg, basically, as they were going for the pin, landed on the ropes. Referee saw it after like a 1 or 2. There you go. FTR then went back to the well with more beatdowns on Matt's knee. Which, that's the real injury. Fake injury is the ankle. Harwood applied an Indian deathlock, but Nick broke it up with a 450 splash. Wheeler leveled Nick with a super kick, which I don't know if I've ever seen. We may have. I don't know if I've ever seen Cash Wheeler hit a super kick, at least not like that before. That was a picture-perfect super kick. He then flipped Matt the Bird and killed him with the buzzsaw kick before missing a springboard 450. Matt hit a super kick, which then led to the Young Bucks picking up the victory and becoming AEW World Tag Team Champions. And then in an interesting thing, so Kenny Omega makes his way down to the ring to celebrate with the Bucks. And as he does, both Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, that is, not Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone, say something about Kenny Omega, like not Kenny Omega, John Moxley, like Moxley's out there. And I go, wait, Moxley? Where's Moxley? And then we see in the entrance ramp, hidden, I don't even know if the announcers noticed it, Hangman just watching from the side, from afar. Bucks and Kenny are celebrating, but Hangman, with a drink in hand, is just about 20 yards away, watching in the wings. Next up, we got the Elite Deletion, which these matches are way more better without commentary or the crowd noise. I don't know why they did that this time. For the first few minutes of this match, it was a nice calm down and change of pace. In a stupid spot, Sammy Guevara shows up in a golf cart, which I understand the golf cart reference. But then all of a sudden we hear, so Sammy goes to turn the golf cart back on after he stops, and he looks like he's revving up the golf cart. And we hear, boom, boom, boom. But no, it's Matt Hardy in a monster truck. And he tries to run over the golf cart, but he really kind of just runs into it and it crumbles down. And I go, oh, I've smashed things better than that with the damn Ford Ranger. And I hate Fords. So I wasn't too impressed with that and thought it was kind of dumb and unneeded. It's more like, hey, I know a guy with a monster truck we can use. Let's try it. doing stuff just to do stuff, not for story purposes. But, I mean, a lot of this match was do stuff just to do stuff. Well, again, this was a cinematic match, but with live commentary for some reason. Hardy was on the phone at one point with someone, asking for them to be ready in case he needed backup. Guevara pulled up, like I said, at the golf cart. Matt, well, took it out with his monster truck. All of a sudden, a caliber voice arose as commentary began talking. Hardy suplexed Guevara just right there, in the woods, between some trees. Ow. They fought over to a fountain where Matt Hardy had what was called the scepter of, I don't even know how to say this. I'm gonna say it how I think I spelt it. Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles? I don't even think that's right. Mephistopheles. It's like Bruce Almighty. So, where was I? Matt had this scepter. Cool. I never seen this scepter before. Matt just keeps adding things to his universe. They continue their brawl all over the Hardy compound, and they found a ring that just sequentially had full gear ring skirts on. Hardy suplexed Guevara and threw him into more objects as they found more things on the front lawn. They fought over. I already read this. They continued to brawl, and Hardy caught Guevara with a springboard coming from a springboard and hit a side effect, introducing a table into the mix. He powerbombed Guevara, threw it, and then attempted to go for the cover, but Santana and Ortiz arrived and broke it up. No rules. No rules at all. Hardy grabbed a walkie-talkie from under the ring, and we see Private Party in a vehicle. All of a sudden, Santana and Ortiz goes, huh? Who he talking to? And all of a sudden, Private Party would appear and start brawling with Santana and Ortiz. So, they go off and do their thing. Matt and Sammy are going, and Matt, well, grabs fireworks, because this ain't going to be a Hardy compound match if there ain't fireworks being shot at somebody. The match starts shooting fireworks very uncontrollably, like he gonna burn something down. There's a reason here in California you can only light fireworks in the city, not out in the boonies. So anyways, Matt's shooting fireworks at Sammy. Finally, Sammy starts to shoot fireworks at Matt, but he gets scared or something. And I don't know if this was planned to be looking like this or if Sammy really didn't want to do this, but he's got the fireworks in his hand and they're shooting out. Choo, choo, choo. But Sammy's like almost not wanting to hold this, like he's scared of it. And he's just like, and so as he's doing this, he's going like this. None of the fireworks are shooting at Matt. They're just going everywhere. Someone was gonna get freaking hurt. As someone who has shot off his fair shot of fireworks in his lifetime, not how you do it. Trust me. I've done it before. Not shooting at people, but lighting them up with the same kinds of fireworks that they used. That is not how you do it. Not holding it, and every time it shoots, you gotta go, like you weren't expecting it to shoot out right then, and you were scared and startled. So back in the ring, Private Party and Santana. Private Party sends Santana and Ortiz packing with an assisted dive. Party visibly hit Guevara with a firework in the butt as he was rolling around in mud. Like, my first thought was, ooh, did Sammy's butt just catch fire and that's why he's in the mud because his butt's burning? Because it was good that he had the mud, because if he would have caught fire or if that, just got a little too warm, the cold mud would have really helped with that. Where was I? Guevara was forced to roll in the mud. He tried to throw Matt into the water, and all of a sudden we hear, "Hey, stop what you're doing now." And a man in a mask had the hurricane. And we learned, well, it's Gangrel. Gangrel said something about Matt not showing him respect as he was one of Matt's first mentors. He was also one of Sammy's first mentors, and he's here to help Sammy. At one point, Hurricane said, "Hey, it's been too long." And Matt goes, "Yeah, it's been about 2 years. I had to finish off that long-term storytelling." Winks at the camera. Some guy then, Sammy Guevara then fights the Hurricane and throws him in the lake or the pond. And he comes back as, well, ace reporter Gregory Helms, who gets thrown in the pond again and then comes back as the Hurricane again. I was like, damn. That second time when he got thrown into the pond, so should have came back as Sugar Shane Helms of 3 count. Even if he doesn't have the ponytail anymore. So back at the ring, all different kinds of brawls are going on. Santana attacks Hardy with a bat. There was a long time with just camera cuts to various people brawling. I think Gangrel was in there fighting with somebody at one point. Hardy and Guevara then brawled to the Dome of Deletion, and Neo shut the doors and locked it. Oh yeah, there was a referee there too. Just happenstance. Guevara avoided some chair strikes as the cinematic music began to play and commentary was still going. So for some reason, there was already a ladder set up in the middle of the ring, but I guess, it's the Hardy house. They love playing with ladders. Oh, where was I? I lost my spot. Already a ladder set up in the ring. Guevara untied the bottom ropes and attacked Matt with the hook. He choked Matt with the ropes, but he wouldn't tap. So Guevara gave up and put him on a table. Sammy then climbed up a 10-foot ladder and jumped off with a swanton, putting Matt through the table. Matt, though, kicked out at 2. Sammy then speared Guevara through a table on the outside, and they kind of referenced Matt Hardy getting knocked out last time, where this time there were 2 tables. Tables kind of went one table, and when they crashed through it, we didn't see this because it was a crash pad spot, of course, but we see the aftermath where the tables are like this. So Sammy crashes through one, the other one somehow broke, and Sammy's bleeding like crazy from the back of his head because he crashed on the back of his head on the concrete. We're supposed to think this is a redo of Matt doing what Sammy did to him. Finally, Matt grabs a steel chair and just basically gives him a one-man concerto with the concrete 2 times before pinning him. Matt then calls for Private Party to enter as he tells Neo to unlock the door. Matt will then say, "Time to take out the trash." They put Sammy Guevara in a trash can, throw him in the back of a truck, and none other than Senor Benjamin will drive away to take out the trash. Now here's my question that I was talking to my friend about that I watched the show with. I was like, how does Sammy come back now? There's no way Sammy can come back by December 15th or something. Like December 16th is a Dynamite. There's no way Sammy can just randomly be like, "Hey, Chris Jericho, MJF, you're in Inner Circle now. What's up? What's up? I've been gone for a while, but I'm back." How does he come back from this? I don't get it. What can they do story-wise to have Sammy back other than just, "Oh, hey, I'm here. I'm in Inner Circle. Oh, MJF's with us now. Wardlow's with us now. Let's work with that." It's just weird. Afterwards, Matt Hardy, his wife Rebby, Private Party, and the Hurricane were all celebrating as fireworks went off behind them. Got a video package from Lance Archer. Archer was beating up some guy when Jake Roberts continued by narrating. Roberts said that Archer needs to get what he wants. Archer spoke and said he was coming for either Eddie Kingston or Jon Moxley, or maybe just anybody in Eddie Kingston's family. Next up, we had MJF versus Chris Jericho. If MJF wins, he gets to join the Inner Circle. Before the match, the lights went out, and what looked to be Jericho appeared on the ramp with his classic light-up jacket. The lights came back on. Well, it was MJF. MJF offered a handshake to the bell, or at the bell, but Jericho slapped it away. They traded chops before MJF fired back with a lariat. He gouged the eye of Jericho, which is kind of a Jericho thing. MJF sent Jericho to the outside and set up for a dive, but he refused and taunted instead. This then angered Jericho, who beat him down on the outside. Jericho grabbed the ringside broadcast camera and flipped MJF off. Jericho attempted a Judas effect, but when he did, MJF moved and his elbow smacked right into the ring post, which played into a few different things throughout the remainder of this match. MJF maintained advantage here, back in the ring, and continued to work on Jericho's elbow. Jericho went for a dive, but didn't really get anything off of it. MJF bit Jericho's fingers, but Jericho grabbed MJF's hand and bit it instead, or as well, actually. MJF continued the beatdown by sending Jericho into a Bronco Buster position across the ring. It looked like Jericho would make his comeback with a top rope Frankensteiner, but MJF cut him off with a throat chop and a suplex. Jericho finally did make that comeback, though, with some chops, but MJF cut him off and applied a salt of the earth. Jericho countered into a Walls of Jericho. After a long battle here, MJF made it to the ropes. MJF went for the Heat Seeker, but changed his mind and hit a code breaker as Jericho was in the ropes, tied up between the top and middle rope. He followed this up with the Heat Seeker and got a 2 off of it. MJF then attempted a lion salt, saw that Jericho had moved, landed on his feet, and turned it into a code breaker. MJF locked on an inside cradle for a good near fall here and caught Jericho with a Judas effect. Or he caught a Judas effect from Jericho, turning it into, but then he turned it into a salt of the earth. So he didn't really take the elbow. Jericho reached the ropes, so MJF called for Wardlow to come out with a Dynamite Diamond ring. Wardlow distracted the official, but someone tossed Jericho's bat instead. So MJF flipped him off and played possum, pretending like he was hit. Basically, Eddie Guerrero lie, cheat, and steal. Jericho argued with the referee, and MJF rolled him up, handful of tights, 1, 2, 3, boom. MJF wins. Jericho says it afterwards. MJF, you're now in the inner circle. Wardlow, you're now part of the inner circle. And Jake Hager did not like this one bit. Jake Hager stared down Wardlow the entire time and was kind of just looking at him like, bro, we already got one, big man. We don't need another. We don't need you. Next up in a not needed at all segment, Dasha interviewed Orange Cassidy and Best Friends about Orange's win earlier. She asked for Cassidy's thoughts on his win, and he said, I got no thoughts. This is when Miro, Kip Sabian, and Penelope Ford would actually come up. They demanded an apology after what they did a few weeks ago, and Cassidy didn't apologize, but Sabian said that this wasn't good enough and slapped him. Best Friends got heated. Cassidy calmed him down and said, let's just walk it off. Let's just go. We're good here. Then we move into our main event. This match was brutal. If you like deathmatch style matches, this is the match for you. This was not your traditional Jon Moxley defend the title in the main event world championship match. This is two guys that like to beat each other up or like to beat anybody up, use foreign objects, and destroy their own body. That's what this match was. And for what it was supposed to be, because this was not, like I said, supposed to be a normal world title match in the main event of a show. And for what this is supposed to be, I don't know if it could have been much better, to be honest, other than, again, another match where the finish kind of just came out of nowhere. Again, another match where I look to my left, look back, and the ring bell rang, and I go, whoa, he said I quit, huh? So let's get into it. They brawled right away, trading big shots. Moxley picked Kingston's ankle, but Kingston bit Moxley's ear. They broke up and traded stiff strikes. They got to their feet before Kingston hit a nice belly to belly. Kingston sent Moxley back into the ring and looked for weapons, but Moxley laid him out with a tope suicida. Moxley then threw a chair at Kingston, who blocked it with his head. Or no, his hands, I mean. From there, Moxley targeted Kingston's hand. They brawled all over the staging area, and Moxley hit a suplex on the concrete. Moxley went for a bulldog choke, but had to settle for a simple chin lock. Kingston bit his way out of it. After they did more brawling, they began to add weapons at this point. Kingston set up chairs in the ring as Moxley juiced, basically. As the cameras weren't looking, cut himself. Moxley appeared with a barbed wire bat, and I like Excalibur going, uh-oh, Jon Moxley about to wish Eddie Kingston a nice day, to have a nice day. So, where was I? Moxley had the barbed wire bat and beat Kingston with it. After the beatdown, Eddie was bleeding from his mouth and forehead. Not exactly sure why mouth with a baseball bat, but anyways, barbed wire baseball bat. I digress. Moxley set up for a big swing with the bat, but Kingston countered into a Saito suplex. They traded strikes from a seated position before Kingston snapped with the clubbing blow and chokes. They tried to send Moxley into the bat on the mat, but he didn't come close to it. Kingston removed the barbed wire from the bat, wrapping it around his bare hands. He mounted Moxley and laid in some ground and pound with the barbed wire wrapped around his hand, hitting Moxley with it. He also at one point applied a double wrist lock. Moxley looked to be in very much so trouble here. He couldn't escape. Tried to bite him, didn't really work. Moxley then turned around a suplex and put Kingston through a set of chairs, and Kingston fired up and basically just downed him with a clothesline. Kingston introduced a bag of thumbtacks into the mix, dumped him out in the middle of the ring. Before he can use them, created suplexes. Moxley won the exchange with a huge clothesline. Moxley set up for a paradigm shift, and Kingston escaped and drove him into the tacks. Just dozens of tacks on the mat, on Moxley's back. Ooh. Kingston went over to the timekeeper's area and grabbed something from Doc Samson. We learned is rubbing alcohol. And what did he do with it? Poured it all over the back of Jon Moxley, where he had all these small, tiny little holes in his back regarding the thumbtacks that had been pushed into Moxley's back. So as the rubbing alcohol is seeping into these little holes in his back, it is burning, it is stinging, it is hurting him badly. Where was I? At one point, he threw some, Eddie Kingston that is, grabbed a handful of tacks and just threw them in Moxley's face, just right in his face. Kingston applied a bulldog choke, then he paused and hit his crossface strikes and knees. Moxley turned it into a sleeper and then a gotch style pile driver, referencing Minoru Suzuki. Moxley followed it up with the paradigm shift. Remember, didn't go for the pin because it's I quit. Moxley grabbed the barbed wire and wrapped it around his forearm and locked in the bulldog choke. With the barbed wire being driven into the throat of Eddie Kingston, he was forced to say, I quit. But Kingston, what happened to, you're gonna have to kill me, bro. You're gonna have to kill me. I'm not gonna say I quit. You're gonna have to kill me. Well, he didn't kill you. He actually helped you to your feet afterwards. And you wanted nothing to do with him. And that was the match. Eddie Kingston says, I quit. Jon Moxley wins. Jon Moxley helps him to his feet. Kenny Omega comes out. Kenny Omega comes out in a t-shirt and his gym shorts, going, oh, I was ready to leave, and they say, wait, we need you for the end of the show. I really think that this would have been more impactful if Kenny would have came out still in his gear, or just more prepared, or at least seeming more prepared, stood on the top of the ramp and did the whole whoosh. Not going down to the ramp and saying, hey, Mox, hey, look, it's a ring. We're going to fight in this with the title on the line. I felt that very underwhelming for the last thing we see on your last pay-per-view of the year. I felt like the end of this show was very underwhelming. Moxley winning, everybody saw that. He was a, hold on, I got the betting odds right here. Jon Moxley was as of this morning, a minus 800 favorite. That's a big favorite. And who didn't see Jon Moxley winning? Also, for those who may ask, yes, I keep notes in notebooks. I've got, I don't know how many of these notebooks laying around from over the last 5 years, just notes upon notes upon notes upon notes. But I felt the end of this show a little underwhelming. Kenny Omega came out because he's the #1 contender, but came out kind of like Tony Khan called him 2 minutes before and said, hey, Kenny Omega, we want you to go out there and just look at Moxley real quick as we cut to black. That's exactly how it felt like. It didn't seem like anything was actually planned. But I don't know. That's your next big feud. I think Kenny Omega wins the belt. If Kenny doesn't, hopefully it makes him just go into this downward spiral where he really, really becomes the real cleaner. Because right now, everyone wants me to be the cleaner, so I'm going to pretend. But I'm still a good guy. Look, I'm going to celebrate with the Bucks. So I hope one of two things happens. Either Kenny wins or losing just makes him go crazy psycho and he turns into the actual cleaner. Because the cleaner was a very dominant, I don't care about anybody but myself or the guys around me that will help me kind of guy. But with that, guys, that's my thoughts and the results of AEW Full Gear. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Before we get to that, we got our poll. What did you guys think of tonight's... Actually, I wrote it wrong. So what did you think of tonight's AEW Full Gear? 75% of you said that you liked it. 25% said you didn't like it. And 0 said that it was all right. With that, we got some text messages here. This person says, do you see FTR getting a rematch for the tag titles relatively soon? Probably. I don't know. You know, AEW is still so new. We don't know really their rematch policy from the former champion. I assume they're gonna come out and just say, hey, we get a rematch. But then Jericho never just got a rematch. I don't even think I honestly think Jericho lost the belt and moved straight on to building up that blood and guts match we never got, which turned into Stadium Stampede. So honestly, I don't know what this could lead to as far as if they can get if they do the automatic rematch clause that WWE used to and sometimes still does. Going forward, this person says, I can't wait to see Wardlow versus Jake Hager. Jake Hager looks very skeptical that Wardlow and MJF will do any good in the inner circle. I agree with that wholeheartedly, 100%. I think Jake Hager is going to be the voice of reason. And maybe Jericho goes, whoa, Jake, I know these guys are frauds, but you got to keep your enemies close. I think that's what this is going to end up being. And finally, this last text message here. Let's get this one to load. Bum, bum. If it will load. Come on. This person here does state, do you think the next big thing for Cody is going to be him now teaming with Darby before he eventually just gets his title shot and rematch? Yeah, that's what they established here tonight. That it's either going to be Darby and Cody against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, or Darby and Will Hobbs, which Will Hobbs almost makes more sense, but they did the whole thing after the Cody match, so maybe. I don't know 100%. But with that, guys, that was our review of AEW Full Gear. I want to say thank you for joining us here tonight, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Remember, if you missed any of this show or any of our previous live streams, you can check those out video on demand, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to follow us on social media, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Find us on Instagram @Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and find us on Twitter @PW Unlimited. So with that, we will be live again this coming Monday for Monday Night Raw. So have a good night, guys, and we'll see you on Monday.